Hey, AfterBuzzers, we have a war of brothels, we have a reconciliation, and maybe a few prisoners. I don't know what's going on, but this is your Harlot After Show. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin. You're tuned.
Hey, AfterBuzzers, I do not know what's going on. We have a war of brothels, we have a reconciliation, and possibly a couple of hostages. I don't know, but we're about to find out. This is your Harlot After Show. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Yes.
Perfect song.
Yeah, it really is. The families.
I know.
It's all about the families.
All about the brothel.
Man, and they are really coming together. Like
They are.
I just don't even.
and beefing. Lots of warfare.
Oh yeah, they're at war for sure, 100% for sure. Man, guys, welcome to the Harlots After Show. What did you overall think of this week's episode?
I thought it was pretty great. It was a lot going on. It was a little sad at the end, of course. And I'm definitely scared for one character in particular. So Charlotte, we're going to get into that a little bit later. But yeah, I thought it was really entertaining.
I thought it was jam-packed. Because I was taking notes, I had to keep pausing because there was so much going on. This whole, like, they packed that 50 minutes.
Oh, I know.
All the way. Like, I was like this. Pause. Yeah, well, like, what is really going on here? Guys, we have a couple of great segments coming up. We're going to do Harlot of the Week again. So think about who you thought was great as a harlot this week. We're going to give you a little Harlot history and then our quotes of the show. So let's just jump right in.
Yeah.
I wanted to first start up with Lydia and Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about their overall storyline this week?
I thought in one way it's kind of a continuation of what we've seen, and that Lydia always wins in the end. She always finds a way to kind of get out of whatever predicament that she is supposed to be in. She just worms her way out. And I'm like, her luck is just crazy. It's ridiculous.
I thought, so the opening credit or the opening scene was so interesting to me because it was her getting busy with that justice and how she was like really bragging that Golden Square is thriving again. And then how just watching her thought process and watching her think like, hey, you know what? I'm on top again. It was really interesting to watch this character play that out. And I was like, okay, so what is this ritual of virgins? What are we talking about here? And the more she talked about it and the more they started planning it, the more I was like, oh, this is really, really creepy. You're really, really creepy. And the vibe I get from her and her house specifically and only is that the girls aren't really there at their own will. Like at the other houses, they know what they are and they know what they do and they're happy to do it. But with her house, she almost treats them like prisoners.
Yes.
And we'll jump into that in a little bit. So what did you think of Lydia basically like having Charlotte as her apprentice and what she made Charlotte do in order to become her apprentice?
I'm very conflicted about this because on the one hand, I understand why Charlotte decided to go along with her plan with this virgin because she knows that'll help. In her mind, she thought that would help take Lydia down. And I really think that Lydia wanted to kind of test Charlotte and say, you say you're all about my house, you say you're all about this family, and you want to be just like me. Well, this is what I do. I, manipulate young girls to get them involved in this life. So are you going to be a part of that or not? And I think she was really testing her to see where her loyalties lie. But it was just very sad to see, like, this poor young girl, like, caught up in all of this, clearly not knowing what she's getting involved in and being lied to. Was just really sad, just kind of heartbreaking in a way. I was like, oh no, don't go with them. Like, they're not what you think they are.
I mean, she said it.
Yeah.
She said it. She's like, this is a godless house to the first girl. I actually think that when when Charlotte came to see Lydia and said, take me with you on this, for lack of a better term, and it sounds really crass, but virgin hunting, I knew then that Lydia knew that she didn't trust Charlotte anymore.
Really?
Yeah, I knew at that moment, because the way she paused and looked at her, like, why do you want to come? And she had to explain, I want to learn from you and be like you. I knew at that moment that there was something up, and I knew that that's when she was going to be ahead.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah,
that does make sense when you think about the ending. It does.
So yeah, I was like, well, okay, let's go. And then so I thought, when we go see these girls and Charlotte and Lydia pick the first girl, I was like, okay, is she really going to be able to do this, Charlotte? Like, do you have, quote unquote, the stomach for it? And, we find out that she didn't really have the stomach for it at all.
No.
And that she wanted to save this young girl. And I just thought, like, how creepy are you, Lydia? So they pick up this girl. She thinks she's going to have this amazing life. And then as soon as you get her to the house, it's like, yeah, she's going through an informal interview, but then you drug her. She passes out, and you're willing to sacrifice and sell her. Think about that.
It's
Sell
really
her virginity.
horrible,
Yeah, it's really,
actually.
really horrible. So I have my first quote of the show. It is from Lydia, and it was, virtue is a hindrance to a woman. After tonight, she can climb. And I thought, how the overall theme here, and we've talked about it in our previous shows, is like trying to empower women in an era and in a job where it's not very empowering, right? And how men were always pulling the strings. But then you have women like this who don't care about other women. They just want to make money.
Yeah, she's very much playing into the system, right? And she's not really empowering the other women around her. And I think you can really see the difference between Lydia and Margaret in that Lydia, like you said, she is kind of, it seems like her girls are not there on their own free will.
At all.
And it's really the opposite of being empowering and kind of giving these women in a time where they don't have very much power, the power to choose what they do with their bodies.
Exactly.
And there's nothing wrong with, being a harlot if that's what you choose and that's how the life that you live. But it's clear that Lydia is kind of manipulating these women when they're very young, because that girl seemed maybe 13 or 14, to get them into this lifestyle, and they know nothing else, and they end up stuck in it.
Yeah, and not just and I agree with you 100%, but this is a girl who, like you said, is maybe 13, maybe 14, has probably never left her family's house, and said directly to them, I've never even kissed a boy.
I know.
And you're going to sell her virginity?
Oh, it's so horrible.
You're going to lock her in a room?
To a much older man, mind you.
Wait. Drug her, lock her in her room, and sell her virginity. Are you kidding me? How traumatizing would that be for that girl? And that's why Charlotte wanted to save her, because she knew. And that backfired, but we'll get into that later. Man. Okay, let's talk about Lucy and Lord Fallon. So we see them in bed, and he has all these questions for her. He wants to know who was her first, how many people she's been with, and like who gives her pleasure, all of this stuff. And it sounded very like boyfriendy.
Very.
But at the same time, it was scary the way he was asking her. What did you think?
It seemed very much like how he was being possessive in a way. Like, yes, I know you're a harlot, you've been with others, but I want to know that I'm the only one that's pleased you. Something that he can say that he's the only one that he's done it. And I think that comes from a sense of like ego and wanting to possess her in some way. And their relationship is just getting so creepy. Like, I'm like, Lucy, what's going on here? Like, what happened to the innocent girl from season 1? She's just full bad right now.
But she's playing a game because if you remember from season 1, she was really fearful of him.
Yes.
She saw darkness in him. But she also realized that this guy can bring a lot of money to her family and they needed it at the time, right? So she's playing his game. I do think that she realizes how dangerous he is and she's trying to play like she can be equally as dangerous. So there was a few things I didn't like about what was going on with these two. So they talked about Kitty and how he just was like, well, killing is an art. Yes. Killers are superior in character. And she's like, well, no, I think it's a desperate act. And it was a desperate act if we think about how he killed him and his other lord friend. Killed Kitty in a desperate act because they really wanted Lucy. Right? And then when he shows her his knife collection and says he's a Spartan, and then she's like, well, I'm a Spartan too. I was like, okay, don't do it. And then she did it when she because she smoked the drug with him, right? And I think that was her first mistake. You know he's dangerous. Why are you smoking up with him?
Why
you have to have all your wits about you. He probably does this drug all the time. You've never done a drug, so you know you're going to have an effect.
Your mother told you not to.
So, like, why? So you do it, and then you admit to killing someone. And you know that he's going to use that against her in the future somewhere.
She really disappointed me this episode. Because I was like, girl, come on, we got to keep it together. Like, there's a plan here. There's a reason why you're there. And she just let it all pour out to this man that she doesn't really trust or know.
Right.
And the only thing she's seen of him is this darkness. You know, he's talking about how killing is an art and, like, it's normal. Like, oh, yeah, you know, I just wake up and kill and that's what I do. And just his comments about Spartans and being a superior race and all of this other stuff. So for her to smoke with him and then reveal this secret, it
was a bad look. It was a bad look all the way around.
Definitely.
And I know that it's going to come to bite her in the butt at some point because he is using her, and he even called her his hostage in the last episode. So it's going to get messy, and it's going to get messy really fast.
Yeah.
Speaking of fast and messy, that was such a bad transition, but I'm gonna go with. I'm sticking to it.
Lots of shows can be kind of fast and messy.
And
lots of drama.
We cover a lot of drama.
And we cover them all.
Yes.
So AfterBuzzers, our network produces after shows for nearly all your favorite TV shows, from dramas, reality TV, messy shows, sci-fi, and more. There is no network that works harder to serve television fans. But we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. If you're worried about those pesky notifications, don't, because they are optional. That's right, people, they're optional. So hit subscribe button for this channel now and check out our other AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know you did so in the comments. We'll definitely shout you out and thank you on air. For now, thanks for being the best fans and for helping us be the ESPN of TV Talk.
Yes, we are.
Yes,
of TV
we
Talk.
are.
We love it.
And we love the comments, guys. So
yeah, we really do. Keep them coming. We get such great info from you fans. We really love it. Let's move on to Margaret and Fanny. So I thought their opening scene was really funny. We see them all in the house, and we see the mom, Mrs. Scandwell, and she's really trying to like marry off her daughter. And had I known that that was going to actually happen in this episode, I would have been like, what? But so she wants to marry off her daughter to Justice Hall. And Fanny's like, oh, it's not Fanny, it's Margaret. Margaret's like, oh, I'm going to call her, you're like a pimp.
Yeah.
Right? You can just join us.
Right. You're just like me.
You're doing what I'm doing because you're saying he has a good job and he makes good money from the crown. So we are not that different.
And she was right, because, you know, later on we see that she learns that her daughter is clearly not interested in marrying this man, that she's having a love affair with another woman. And instead of, you know, being supportive of that, she's like, no, you need to be with this man. And so really, her and Margaret are kind of doing the exact same thing.
They really are. They really
like,
are.
The exact same thing.
They really are. And then we had a moment with Margaret and Fanny where Margaret reprimands her. And she really is just fearful because she doesn't want to leave her child, right? And that's what she thought Margaret was going to make her do. And it was really nice to have that moment where you saw that Margaret's like, I don't have the heart to separate you and your child. You know, so she really does feel like they are a family and they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, I love to see that, seeing that Margaret is showing her girls that she really is supporting them, and especially because, you know, we started the season with them feeling like she wasn't supportive and that she's obsessed with revenge and she doesn't care about them. So it was great to see her kind of reassure Fanny, like, I would never separate you and your family. You have nothing to worry about. Yeah, it was a really sweet moment.
And then Fanny's not going to let this kitty killing go. So we see her go to the Lord's card game where they're hanging out and point out to the justice, that's the guy that killed Kitty. And the justice tries to do something about it, talk to him, but nothing happens. Lord Liddington just is basically like, peace out, makes a big scene and bounces, right?
Right.
And I was like, if you're the justice, why does this Lord not have to, I don't get it.
Right, he's supposed to be the law.
You're the law. Yeah, I get he's like, you know, rich and powerful person, but the law should apply to the rich and powerful.
It should.
Should it not?
But as we see, it didn't then. A lot of times today it doesn't. So
right, history repeating itself. This show, I mean, we've talked about it last episode too. It's a lot of things that haven't changed over the years.
Exactly the same.
Same. Let's move on to Violet, the Justice, Amelia, and their whole love triangle that we really did predict.
We did. We
was going to happen.
Coming.
Just not the way that it happened.
Yes.
So a few things here. So first, Violet is mad at Amelia's mom because she sees that she's trying to set her up with the justice. And so she's starting to feel like jealous, in my opinion. Right. And then what I thought was interesting about this was I honestly didn't see this coming. I did not see him, like when she brought the little gift to him and then he brought flowers to her and they went for a walk. I thought that was going to be like the beginning of, let's
nice friendship.
Yeah, let's be friends and date. No, he's like, will you be my wife?
Out of nowhere.
And I was like, what?
I know, because
I literally, if you can see my notes, OMG
guys,
is what I wrote down.
It literally says OMG.
It says OMG. What just happened?
Yeah, that was crazy because we thought it was going to be Violet.
Yeah.
And they're going to, they're in the same house. They might have a connection.
Yeah.
But the more, after I initially saw it and I was like, what is happening? I kind of thought more about their characters. And in a way, it almost makes sense for the justice because he likes like virtuous, law-abiding. Amelia is all of that. On the surface, she seems like the perfect angel and the kind of woman I think he can see himself marrying.
Yeah, I mean, he said it. You can keep me steadfast, and I'll keep you safe.
Yeah,
right. So I thought that was like, that's pretty accurate. You too. I could see why you would think it would work.
Yeah.
But she says it's too fast in the beginning, and she'll think about it. And then we find out that her mom finds out about her dirty little secret.
Right.
Because again, Lydia is everywhere and all powerful and all knowing.
All knowing, all powerful.
And her mom's not having it. She's like, her mom, for her mom to be like the church going lady that she is, the way she put it, where she's like, Hunt will save them, but her black whore will drag her down.
Yeah. I was like, oh. You're saying it like blackness is a bad thing.
Right? And like, wait, where are these words coming from, church lady?
You're supposed to be
church lady. You're
pious.
Thank you. And not judgmental.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, wait a minute.
So pushing her into this life. And that's actually like a few scenes before, that's where my quote of the episode came in, where Amelia was talking to, I think it's Joseph, I think that's his name, or Joseph. And he was telling, and she was saying, I don't know if I can marry him. And she was really confused. And he told her, you know, I always follow my heart. And I just love that because, you know, at the end of the day, you really do have to go with what your heart and your head is telling you. But unfortunately, it didn't work that way for her.
And, you know, I'll save this for my predictions, but you see that this is going to just
I know. Implode.
Turn out well.
It's going to implode.
Turn out well at all. Let's I'm telling you. They're outrageous. So we've talked about Lydia and Charlotte. Yeah, I think we've covered all of our groups, our families.
Yeah.
The last part I wanted we didn't talk about Emily, Cherry, Charles, Harriet, and Lime.
It was so much this episode, guys. Yeah. So much going on.
I want to make sure we cover them all. Okay, so we see them open up with intruders and trouble at the house and a knife-wielding
breaking things
person. Yeah. And so Charles, who I got to tell you, Charles, he's like the laziest, most useless man.
He's the worst.
But has such privilege. It's just, I don't understand it. He's like a contradiction.
He really is. But also reminds me of a lot of people of today who are rich and, you know, don't really have to work for it.
Preach, girl, preach. Okay, so we see that, but what I thought was awesome was that Nance comes to the rescue, and they have him on like almost like a cross, like a Jesus cross thing.
Yeah, like whipping
and they're
him,
beating him. And I was like, is this supposed to be biblical in this moment? I'm not sure, but it feels a little like that. And wants to know who sent them, right? That's what they wanted to know. And he wasn't going to give it up. And then she went for the jewels, and he gave it up immediately.
Yeah.
And we find out it was Lydia.
No shock there.
Yeah. And so Lydia has started this war, not only with Emily, but with Margaret as well, because that's how she's using Mrs. Scanwell. She's like, you're going to go to the justice, and you're going to say that she's still running a brothel, and you can't.
Forcing them.
Yeah. Yeah. All the stuff that she does.
Right. Exactly.
All the stuff that she does.
Exactly.
So what did you think? What did you think about what's happening in the Emily brothel?
I think the Emily brothel is running exactly how I thought it would run. Just very disorganized in a sense. And then Lydia trying to interfere. And then, you know, supposedly Emily may be pregnant. She says she's pregnant, but my question was, is she saying that because she wants the protection from Lydia, or is she saying it because it's actually true?
It's not true.
Yeah.
It's not true. She's saying it because he's like, basically, I'm done with you. I don't trust you. And you lied to me. And you were going to turn on my mom, so I'm going to turn my back on you. And that's when she was like, oh, I'm going to pull out the big guns and be like...
Pull out the pregnancy card.
Pregnancy card, right? That, I mean, again, a lot of things have not changed over the years.
Nope.
So she's going to do that so that he stays with her, and she does get the protection. And, you know, we'll see what happens. I'm telling you, they are setting up a bunch of train wrecks all across. Like, I just see them happening here.
And we only have 3 episodes left to see how this all, like, explodes.
Listen. And then I liked, so the soldier boy, or Webster, they call him. I liked how he came in and they hired him and Margaret decided to pay for it. I liked all of that.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, like, the whole Harriet Webster storyline, where they're going to go from there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And maybe
I'm liking it.
Yeah,
I'm liking it.
I like the little vibe.
Yeah, a little flirtation thing going on. I could see that going well, hopefully.
Okay, so then we come to the party. So the party was super creepy to me, personally.
Oh, definitely, yes.
And just all the men that were willing to bid on this virgin, and with Lord Fitz being the first to put in the bid, I thought, you know what, you're gross.
So disgusting.
You're gross, and he's controlling, and you see that with his sister.
Yes.
And when he threw that money on the floor for her, this is all you're gonna get.
Yeah,
right?
you can't. She's basically begging him
for her own money.
And he's like, you can't handle it.
Yeah,
you can't.
You imbecile.
Right, you're not smart enough to have your own money. I was like, that were my brother. Luckily, my brother is a lovely man, because if that were him, we would be beefing all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So what I thought was interesting about this whole party is that at the end of the day, Lydia was always in charge. She always knew what was going on, and she knew even when the guy came in, when Webster came in, and she was like, "Oh, who is this stallion?"
Yeah.
You could see in her face, she's like, "I know all the players. I've been doing this for too long, so I know that you are not who you say you are, and I'm gonna go with it. That's fine, but." Know that when it's time to call you out, I'm gonna call you all out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know how she does it. It's like a superpower. Anyways, let's jump into our Harlot pick of the week.
Yes, let's. So in case you guys don't know, we do a Harlot of the Week, which is basically the character that we really loved in this episode. So,
Harlot of the Week.
Yeah. So we're just going to get right into it. I think this week my pick would be Charlotte. And the reason that I chose her is because I feel like she really gave her all to try to save this young girl. And, you know, she was doing everything she could. Even though she was kind of a part of it in the beginning, she came to her senses and she really tried hard to save her. And I really appreciated that effort. And I think I just really admire her character.
Okay.
She's in a tricky situation right now, so I don't know where that's gonna go, but I just love that she tried to save her even though she ultimately couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's a solid pick. I am worried for her because, like I said in the top of the show, not only is the Virgin a prisoner of Lydia, Charlotte is now a prisoner because she's locked in that room.
Yes.
So, of course, my pick goes to Lydia because Lydia seems to one-up everyone all the time. I think that she's been in the business for a long, long time. I mean, she's the one that got Margaret started. And when we saw last week Mrs. May, her and Mrs. May have been doing this for a very, very long time. And she's still in the business, and she's actually still working now.
Yeah, she's still on top.
Somehow even when she went to jail, she managed to get out. Even when they shut down her house, she managed to get it opened again. And now when they're trying to save the Virgin, she shut that down. So she's my Harlot pick of the week because she always ends up on top.
Yeah, she's always one step ahead. That does make sense. She's the villain you love to hate, kind of.
Like and you know what? I take it back in my first episode when you were in prison and I was starting to feel bad for you. I don't feel bad for you at all, Lydia.
Right.
You are a scammer, genius.
She totally pimped out that girl.
I want to get into a little bit of Harlot history.
Yes.
So Harlot history, I wanted to first talk about the word cosmetics. So the cosmetics, the word has actually always been associated with bad girls, and its root in history is from the Latin word, and guys, I might butcher it, so bear with me. The Latin word lenocinium, which actually meant both prostitution and makeup.
Oh, wow.
From that, we get the word cosmetics. And yeah, isn't that weird?
Language is really funny.
It really
is. When you
is.
actually learn the background of where these words come from.
Right. Okay, so in the 18th and 19th century, the central idea was to look as pale as possible. So I was wondering, because, you know, all the characters, they do that, the pale and the rouge. It was taken as a sign that you never had to go out in the sun. So the women, the harlots, were mimicking ladies of leisure, meaning that you were higher class and like wealthy. So that's why they did it. And it's called face enameling. And they painted their skin literally with arsenic to make it that white. So there could be some downfalls. Guys, there's a little bit of a video I want you to watch just to get the idea. So look, she looks like she could be a character on Harlots.
She does.
Let's roll video.
Hey guys, today I have partnered up with Hulu to bring you a makeup tutorial inspired by their new show Harlots. Harlots is set in 1763 London. At this time, the sex trade is one of the biggest and most important industries in the economy.
Yeah.
Cheeks, the round doll-like blush that they wore. So some women would make their own concoctions at home that they would apply, but most popular thing they would use were pieces of Spanish wool or paper that were impregnated with red liquids that they would dab onto their faces to create this rosy look.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go for a simple blush that I have. Nice modern day cosmetics.
So do you see how that she's completely like white in her face, and now you got the rouge on the cheeks. So that's all the way from the 18th century, and you know people still do that nowadays. Yeah. And I wanted to do our predictions and then go into my quote of the show. So let's go to Harlot predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right, you're up.
Okay. Gosh, there's just so much. I don't even know where to start. I would say that I think Amelia ultimately is not going to marry the justice. I think that her heart is going to tell her no, and she's going to do her best to get out of it. And at least is what I hope.
You know what? You are so like matter of fact and positive. I'll tell you this. Okay, so just because you mentioned that, my prediction is this: she's actually going to get married to the justice. It's going to be like a 3-way crazy drama in the house, and I think that something bad is really going to happen by her hands with the justice. Because she's fighting for love of Violet. So I think it's going to be a hot mess and it's going to be a bloodbath. So I don't think she's going to be like, oh no, I'm not going to marry you. Yeah, I just can't do it. I think it's going to get way messy. That's my prediction for them.
It's very Harlot-esque for it to go that way. I think, of course, Charlotte's going to eventually get out of Lydia's home and not be a prisoner anymore. I have no idea how. I can only hope that by the end of, through the next 3 episodes, something happens to bring Lydia down, because she's been consistently on top for a season and a half. And I just, something's got to give. Like, she has to fall eventually.
Any more predictions?
No, that's it. That's all I got.
So I don't think that Lydia is going to fall at all. I think she's going to stay on top. I think that, again, something bad is going to happen with Charlotte. I think that Lord Fitz is the one that's going to, quote unquote, save her, but he's not actually going to save her. I think he's going to keep her enslaved, and they're not ever going to be able to bring Lydia down. But because I said that, I also do think that Lady Fitz is the one that's actually going to rescue Charlotte in the end from her brother, and in essence then rescue herself.
Yes. Rescue yourself, Lady Fitz.
For real.
Speaking of which, one more prediction for her. I do think we're going to see her child, or we're going to learn more about that at some point.
So that's why I think that the young girl that's 13 is actually her daughter.
Really? Mm-hmm. That's a very interesting prediction.
Yes. And then last prediction for this show and this episode, I think that Harriet and Webster are going to get together, and I think that he's going to kind of be the de facto father of her children.
I would love that. I would love to see that. I really like them together.
Guys, let us know what your predictions are. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We read them, we respond to them, we appreciate them, and we just love hearing from you guys. I do want to end with a quote, and it's from Lucy, and she was talking to Lord Fallon. He was asking her all these questions, and she's like, I'm a harlot. I don't keep count. I was like,
perfect way to go out.
That's it. Mic drop. Hey guys, I'm Linda Antwi. I am on social media at Linda is so girly. Hit me up whenever you want, because I do respond and I love hearing from you guys.
Hey guys, it's Mariel Turner. You can find me on all social media at Mariel_Turner. Definitely hit us up. Let us know what you think. We'll respond to you. So yeah.
Guys, bye for now. We'll see you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.